Hi everyone, it's Jess with Kinder Stampo, and today I want to show you how to make a really quick mini storybook that you can either make for your kids or make with your kids. I think it's one of those projects that would be really fun to make with your kids. However, I'm making this one for Three Kings Day, which is a huge celebration in the Hispanic community. So I wanted to be sure that when my kids wake up in the morning, I had a little storybook that I can read to them so that they can know what the story of the three magi is. And what I did was I went ahead and I found the story from the Bible on the internet, of course, and I printed out all of the verses. So here are all of the verses from this particular story from the Bible. The next thing you're going to need for this is an image, and I grabbed this image again off of the internet, and I just cut it out. The next thing you need is a couple of sheets of chipboard. So in this case I cut 5 pieces of chipboard by 5 inches by 5.5, but again, this is not a perfect size. Remember, it's just a kid's storybook, and you can pretty much make it whatever size you wish as long as your verses fit within the page. So one of the main things that I wanted to do for this, because I wanted the book to look very vintagey and old and distressed, so I'm going to add a lot of layers of colors and distressings just to make it look vintagey. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my craft mat, bring that over here, and I'm just going to lay my piece of chipboard on here. And for this case, I'm going to go ahead and grunge the edges with this Tim Holtz Distress tool, and it's really easy to use. All you have to do is just put it on the edge of your chipboard and just distress away. It's really simple. It's basically a blade with a little pocket, and you just put the paper within the little pocket and you just rub, and all of it does is it causes a distressed feel to the edges of whatever paper you choose to do it on. And I'm going to do this to all of the pages. So there we go. The next thing I did is I have this Lindy Stamp Gang's Moonshadow Mist, and this one is in Long John Silver. What I love about the Moonshadow Mist is that they have really pretty two-toned micas in them, but it also is a walnut stain, so it leaves a brown vintage look with the really pretty shimmers of the particular color. So in this case, it's like some silvers and some platinums in it. So I'm going to just go ahead and spray this on here really quick. Not too many layers, and you can see how this is a project that you can easily do with your children, as long as, of course, it's supervised. The next thing you're going to do is take your heat tool and heat it up so that you can dry it up. So we're just heating this page up, and we're kind of just setting the spray within the chipboard. So this goes by pretty fast, and you'll see what parts are dry, because the dark sections will blend into the paper. And don't worry if the paper starts to curl. That's kind of what I wanted to do for this anyhow, because I do want it to look like it's an old storybook. But once you spray the back of it, it'll uncurl and be perfect again. So there we go. Then I'll go ahead and I'll flip it over to the other side and spray that side as well. So just a really light layer of the Moonshadow Mist, and we're going to continue to dry until we have the whole area dry. So really simple. And this is the part where you'd want to supervise. I think it would be perfectly fine for your kids to use the Moonshadow Mist, and then for you to participate by helping them dry it with the heat tool. Okay, and we're done with that. So the next thing you're going to do is just wipe up your craft mat, set it over to the side, because we won't be needing that anymore. Now that you have your pieces of chipboard, and you can see how beautiful the shimmers are in this and how distressed it looks, you're going to go ahead and cut out your verses like this, and I'll show you how I made them look distressed and grunged up. So I have this one right here, and again I did the same thing. I used the Tim Holtz Distress Tool, and I'm just grunging up the edges. Just want it to look really, really distressed. This is a really simple process to do and really fun. I'm sure this is a part where you could probably let your kids do it. I don't think they would get really hurt by using this tool, but of course you'd always want to make sure that it's supervised. So there we go, just really, and then I kind of just crush it up a little bit because I want it to look really wrinkly. The next thing I did was I took my Tim Holtz Distress Ink in Vintage Photo. Now I'm just going to go ahead and dab into here, and I'm going to start off of the paper and kind of in a circular motion just start rubbing it on. So you see how it's capturing the color, and it's darker on the outer edges and a lighter blended tone in the middle. So there we go. Here goes the verse. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my tape runner. And again, this is a really, really simple project. So I'm going to go ahead and take the verses, and in this case, I have them in order because the ones that I printed actually tell me verse 1, verse 2. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on the back, my Helmar tape runner, kind of just offset them like this. So this is the first one, and keep the front of it empty because you're going to want to embellish this as the cover. And then we're just going to really quickly do the other ones as well. So here we go. You're going to see how quickly this project will go through. And I think there's, let's see, 12 verses in this particular story, so here goes the next one. And here goes another one. And you'll notice that I'm putting them all on the bottom of the page, and I'll tell you why I'm doing that in a second once I'm done with this. Okay, so there we go. Super, super simple. So now here goes the cover, and on the cover, because this story focuses on how the three magi was following the star to find the baby Jesus, I'm going to go ahead and pop up this image of the three kings on the cover. And this would be one of those cases where if you want, you can have your kids color it up. And I'm just going to use some Helmar Zap Dots for this. You guys know how much I love these little Zap Dots. And we'll just go ahead and remove a little layer off here, and then just place it on the front cover like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my crocodile, and I'm going to make some holes so that I can turn this into a little mini book. So all you need to do is just grab all of your pages together, insert it within this hole right here, and press and punch. So there we go, we have the first hole, and because it's a kid's book, I want to make sure that it lasts and it can be used. So I'm going to put two rings on here. So there we go, there goes the second one. And then the next thing I'll do is Tim Holtz has these really cool D-rings. They're the same way that binder rings work, except that these are in the shape of a D, and they have a really antique color to them. So I'm going to go ahead and insert here through the book and lock it up. Simple as that. And then do the same thing to the second one and close that up. So you see where we're going with this? The next thing I did was I used my Marby Star Punch, and I cut a bunch of stars. So just really random stars cut out with some shiny glitter paper. I'm going to go ahead and grab my craft glue, and I'm just going to put little dabs around the paper and adhere some little stars randomly. So you see, super, really easy, fun project for you to do with your kids, fun way to incorporate a Bible story into a fun little project with them, and they'll absolutely have fun making this and appreciate the fact that they were able to put this together. So you see, I'm just going to go ahead and put the little stars all around this page. And again, I want to embellish it, but I don't want it to look too overdone because it is a very simple vintage looking page. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just some regular raffia craft ribbon and just open it up like this. And I'm just going to cut a few strips of this. In the story it says that the baby Jesus was lying in a manger, so I thought it would be really appropriate to put some raffia because it looks like the hay that was in the manger. So we'll go ahead and just cut some strips here and tie them along the edge. So like that. So really simple. And let's just add one more here. And that's pretty much it. Really simple little mini book that has a simple image of the Bible story, incorporates some of the stars, which is a central point of the story. I added a few of these little raffia craft ribbons just to add a little fun detail to it. And then within the pages, as you flip, you'll see that there's these verses. And the reason why I left this space open is because I wanted it to leave it the space so if my kids wanted to draw a photo of something that they were inspired by this verse, it can be placed in this area. So you can either put a mat or you can put a pocket here, but for now I'll leave it open because I want them to be able to embellish it how they wish. And then you have all of these fun pages in here, and then a really fun story to share with your kids. So this will be a good little book to add to their library. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and happy Three Kings Day. Bye.